Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to the IAM Love Builder Show. And welcome to all of our broadcast partners. We give a great big shout out to you. I Am Love Builders is a show that is devoted to all things dealing with relationships and communication. Whether you are married or single, our goal is to make you the MVP of your relationship. That means the most valuable partner.
Yes.
And also, we want you to know and remember that if you're not
Not
having
having
fun,
fun,
you're
you're
not
not
doing
doing
it
it
right.
right. No doubt about it. All right. We'll give a shout out to our sponsors to the show. And we wrote a book called Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. It's out on Amazon. Hit the hot new release list on Amazon. We have a free ebook. You can go to our website right now and grab that free ebook. We have an MVP partner program, partner club program, exclusive partner program. You want to check that out. You can get more information on that by clicking on MVP on the website. And we offer free workshops for groups of 10 or more. So if you're interested in a free workshop access, let us know. We also are recruiting for a TV show.
Yes, we are.
So we got a couple of couples already, but we're looking for more couples to close out our TV show casting call.
Yes.
And that's going to be exciting.
Yes.
All right.
So I want to say a little bit more about the casting call.
Sure.
So if you are a couple, husband and wife, and you have a product, a service, a ministry, a broadcast, or radio show, or something
Mhm.
that you would like to share with
Yes.
a broader audience than what you already have,
Mhm.
you want to expand your community,
Right.
and you have something to share and to give to people,
Mhm.
we would like to highlight you, interview you on our TV show.
Yes.
So that's what the casting call is all about.
Yes.
It's all about getting you out there and promoting what you have to offer.
Yeah. Now you have to kind of qualify for that.
You do
right?
have to
We're
qualify.
not just bringing anybody on the show, but you need to be energetic. You need to have a product or service that you want to offer, and you and your spouse need to get along. Right? Need to be a
Absolutely.
happy
Yes,
couple.
yes. You have to be a happy couple,
Yes.
person, a couple who understands marriage, or a husband and wife who are maybe you've had some ups and downs, some challenges. We're not saying a perfect marriage,
No.
but
Nobody's perfect.
you are married, you want to stay married, and divorce is not an option for you.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
who we're looking for.
That's what we're looking for.
All right.
All right.
So today we're going to talk about chapter 13, understanding the 6 building blocks of a successful relationship. So if you are interested in coming on our show, this is a good thing for you to understand.
Yes,
Right.
you need to understand the
These
6 building
building
blocks.
blocks. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we also, these 6 building blocks, I believe,
Mhm.
that we've written in the book are not just for married people, but they're
Right.
also for single people.
Right.
And so we would like to, in today's episode, we want to put this out to the singles as well.
Oh, sure. Sure.
So if you're wanting to be married and you're not married yet, here's
Mhm.
something for you to consider,
Right.
to meditate on. Now, if you're already married
Mhm.
and you want your marriage to continue to grow and to thrive and to flourish, or maybe you're having a few challenges that you need to work on,
Right.
I believe that these building blocks will also help you. So we understand that, relationships take work,
Mm-hmm.
it takes commitment. You have to be willing to stick and stay.
Right.
You have to be willing to hang in there.
Right.
You have to be willing to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to grow, to learn. Put yourself out there so you can learn something. And above all things, is not run from conflict.
Don't run from it. No, because it gives you a chance to
Mhm.
actually get closer together, right? To create more
Right.
intimacy if you know how to handle those conflicts. We talked about that before.
Yes, and understand these building blocks are they're primarily for married couples and
Mhm.
singles, but they also could work for any of your relationships, like your children, your siblings,
Hmm.
your co-workers, your church members,
Yeah,
all pretty much all the tools that we teach here can roll over to those other relationships as well.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to first of all give you what the six building blocks are.
Okay.
And then we will take our time and go through and kind of break them out. And correct me if I'm wrong,
Hmm.
sweet husband,
Hmm.
but we're live. And so if you have like a question or something, they can
They can.
type in a question.
Absolutely. We are streaming into our podcast Facebook group. So if
Mhm.
you are in that group or if you're in our MVP group, you will have access to this live. So you can definitely chime in.
All right.
Hmm.
So let me share what the six building blocks are, and then
Okay.
we'll break them down.
All right.
The first one is, what do you desire?
Hmm. All right.
Number two is, do you have the faith?
Hmm. Very important.
Three, what are you willing to give up?
Also critical in a relationship and marriage, successful one.
Yes. And number four is, what is your plan of action?
Gotta have a plan. We talked about this before as well.
Mhm.
Gotta have a plan.
Number five, are you modeling the world or God?
Hmm. I think that one's good. That's gonna get a lot of votes right there. Yeah.
And number six, are you happy?
Oh man, at the end of the day, you need to be happy.
Yes.
You know, why are you
But
in a
you know
relationship?
what? I don't want to jump ahead,
Yeah,
but we as human beings, sometimes we do things that we're not happy.
we do a lot of things and we're not happy.
And
Yeah.
I mean, the start of something
Hmm.
is like knowing in the beginning
Right.
that this is not right.
Right.
This is not going to work for me. This is not it. But we do it
You do it anyway.
anyway.
You're not happy, but you do. You go down that road anyway. You know it's not going to be. It's just going to be a bunch of drama and heartaches and suffering.
Yes, yes,
You know,
yes,
and like
yes.
Yoda said, suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the very first one.
Okay.
And this one, I want to give a shout out to married couples, especially if you're newly married or
Hmm.
if you're starting over, if you decide to give each other grace and start fresh
Yeah.
and anew.
Hmm.
Also, for those of you who are single and you want to be in a relationship, you want to get married.
Yeah.
First question, what do you desire? Hmm.
You
Do
know,
you know what you want?
I don't think a lot of couples do because they kind of almost trip into becoming married, not get tricked into, but trip into it. In other words,
Right.
they're not planning it. They just kind of they say, you know what, let's get married. It's
Yeah.
like, but no plan, no,
No
don't know
plan.
what they want,
Yeah.
don't know if they want children, don't know if they want to
Mhm.
have careers together or
Mhm.
separate. They don't
Mhm.
know much of anything. All they know
Right.
is the world says you're supposed to get married or not. Actually, the world now is telling them not to get married.
Well, yeah.
Right? But the word is telling them to get married,
Mhm.
and they may be Christians and they may be kind of weekend Christians or Sunday Christians to where they're really not focusing on the word,
Mhm.
what the word
Mhm.
says
Mhm.
about marriage, because marriage is a covenant, not a
Not a
contract.
contract.
But even Christians treat it like a contract to where you can just get out of it. Right?
Yes.
It doesn't work.
Right.
All right. Well, I tried.
And that's why we really want to talk about, what do you want? I
Mhm.
mean, do you know? What do you desire?
Right.
Do you know? Are you even ready to be in a relationship? I mean, don't get caught up in culture. Just because everybody you know is with somebody doesn't mean you need to be with somebody if you're not ready to be
Say
with
it.
somebody.
Say it.
I mean, I always look at singles, and if you have hurt and pain and trauma, if you need some healing and deliverance, a relationship is not the answer for you right now.
Right.
It doesn't mean no, not ever,
Mm-hmm.
but it means get healed. Work on what's going on in you. Know you.
Yeah.
Do you know who you are?
Yeah. Well, we're going to get more into that. We're going to take a quick break. If you're watching live, we're going to take about a 10-second break. We're just going to have a 10-second moment of silence for our sponsors. And then we'll be right back with this very important topic of understanding the 6 building blocks of a successful relationship. We'll be right back. All right, we are back. Casper and Cheryl here with IAM Love Builders, and we are getting into a very important topic for singles and married couples.
Yes.
And it's chapter 13 of our book, Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. And on chapter 13, we talk about understanding the 6 building blocks of a successful relationship.
Right.
Now, you went through the list of those 6, and we were talking about the first one,
Mm-hmm.
which is what do you desire? Did we
Yes.
finish that topic? Or
No, we did not.
All
So,
right.
so it's like, what do you want? Do you know what you want? Are you really ready for a relationship?
Mm.
Is there some things in you that you need to work on, work out before you step into a relationship? So that's something you need to truly sit and discover
Intentionally sit
intentionally.
down and write this out. It's
Right.
okay to kind of daydream a little bit as far as what you
Mm-hmm.
want in a spouse,
Mm-hmm.
what you want your marriage to look like,
Mm-hmm.
family
Right.
dynamic,
Right.
pets, children, what have you.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, not only writing out what you desire,
Mm-hmm.
but here's a bigger question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to be that same person that you
Mm.
desire?
Wow. Yeah, that's important as well, right? So you're making this list of this perfect spouse.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was Darren Hardy. He was the editor of Success Magazine a couple of years ago, and he was writing out this list of a perfect wife that he wanted.
Right.
And then he started to think about it. He said, "Okay, so am I the perfect husband
See?
for this perfect wife?"
See, that's what I'm talking about.
You got all these things listed. I want her to be pretty, and I want her to be intelligent, and I want her to be
Yes.
patient, and I want her to be a great mother and
Have
great
career goals,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
goes to the gym 3
Yeah.
days a week or
Right.
whatever the case may be. Are you willing to be that same person?
See,
Something to think about.
that's something to think about for
So
sure.
if you got a list and you're writing that list down right now,
Mhm.
you need to meditate on that list. And this same thing that you want from that person,
Yeah.
are you willing to be that person as well?
Yeah, right next to their list, have your list of,
Yeah.
of how you're going to
Right. How you're going to be
become
that person.
the person that so you can attract that person.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So number 2 is, do you have the faith?
Mm.
Now, this is ultimately extremely critical and important if you are a believer.
Okay.
Even if you're not a believer,
Mm-hmm.
faith still comes into play.
Right.
I mean, everything we do pretty much requires faith.
It does. A lot of people don't equate it to God or Christian faith or whatever, but that's exactly what it is. Right?
It is.
If you're getting married, you're not getting married in the belief that next week you're going to be divorced.
No.
Right? You have the faith that it's going to last, that's going to
work.
It's going to work and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's faith regardless of how you look at it. But
right.
In this instance, are we talking about Christian faith or what are we talking about?
Well, it says here, what we wrote is that faith is faith regardless. Faith regardless of whether your spiritual aspect
Mm-hmm.
or not, because it's a journey.
Hmm.
And journeys happen by faith. I mean, you don't know what the outcome of the journey is going to be.
Right.
You don't know. You get up every morning, you shower, you get dressed, you lay your clothes all out, you get ready to go to work. But there are people all over the world who don't make it.
Yeah.
So by faith, you step out, you take a chance, you go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You go for the goal to say. Even when you go to work, you have by faith, you're going to come home the next evening.
Right.
Yeah. Or you're going to wake up. I mean, all of this is done by faith. You get in your car, you drive down the street, you drive on the highway to work. Some people have a 10-minute car ride. Some people have a whole hour and a half to get to work. It's all you get in there with the mindset that I'm going to make it there. So it's faith. That's what it's called. It's faith. And so a relationship is a journey, and you have to have faith. You got to have faith and trust in that person, that they're going to stick and stay, that you're going to stick and stay, that if there's some issues, you're going to work it out. I mean, it all requires faith. Do you have any?
Yeah. One of our Facebook watchers said, faith, it's a journey of faith. It absolutely is. Getting into a relationship takes a fair amount of faith, and trust in the individual that you're partnering up with. At least you
Right.
should be trusting them.
Right.
And if you don't trust them, that's a
That's a red flag.
huge red flag, right? If you don't
You
trust
back
them,
away, run now.
Yeah.
If you can't trust in this person, if you don't have any, you can't relax when you're around this person, you don't believe what they're saying.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
You can't trust them around your
Mm-mm.
family. You can't
Mm-mm.
trust them around your coworkers.
Mm-mm.
That's a huge red flag.
They contradict themselves. They tell you one thing one minute, and the next day they tell you something different.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Move on.
Move on. So you have to have faith.
Yeah.
Because life is a journey.
Mm.
And it like our listener said, the journey of faith.
Right.
You know, you have to have that in place. So
Mhm.
regardless of what your spiritual beliefs are, you do have to have faith.
Right.
Just to live, to wake
Right.
up every morning and continue throughout your day is
Mhm.
faith.
Absolutely.
So the next one is, what are you willing to give up?
Oh, wait a minute. I have to give up something for a relationship?
Oh, yes, you do.
I don't know why I got to give stuff up. Why
You have to give up something when you make a career choice.
Mhm.
You have to give up something when you decide you want a bachelor's, master's, or a PhD.
Mhm.
You have to give up something if you decide you want to be, one day your goal is to be a CEO of a corporation,
Mhm.
or if you want to start your own corporation and be the CEO. You got to give up something.
Yeah, I know our daughter has a roommate. She just moved into an apartment with a roommate, and she's realizing some stuff she had to give up. So she's gaining some freedom, if you will, but she also realizes now you have this other person that you have to get along with.
Right. You're sharing the space with.
You're sharing the space. So you got to give up and compromise. You got to work together. Who's going to cook tonight, or who's going to clean this and pick up that?
And that's an act of faith too, because you're having faith that person's going to pay their part of the rent.
Okay, every month.
Every month.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't. By the way, I've been in that situation.
Oh,
it's like, okay, it's the 5th.
See, I never forget our nephew, my nephew, my sister's son. I kept telling that young man, you do not need a roommate.
Right.
You're one of those people who need to live by yourself. Okay, let's be real. He didn't listen to me, so he moved out and he got a roommate. And did we not get a call at 3:00 in the morning?
Yes, we did.
Where him and the roommate, they didn't get along. They was fussing. They actually got into a physical fight, and the neighbors called the police, and it was just like drama.
Yeah, big time drama.
So, yeah, you got to give up something.
You got to give up something and be okay with giving up, because if you give up too much now, you may not really appreciate this relationship. In other words, if you have to become someone else in order to be in that relationship, now that's giving up too much. Right. So you have to be careful on both ends. Yes, there is some collaboration and compromise, if you will, that needs to happen, but you don't need to become someone else to be in that relationship.
No.
You still want to be you.
You need to be you. And so when you are in a relationship, know this, there is going to be something you're going to have to give up. We give up everything. I mean, going to school, starting a business.
Right.
If you decide you want to start a club or a ministry, or if you want to take a class, or whatever the case is, you have to give up something. So in a relationship, you have to be prepared that there's something you're going to have to give up. Are you willing? If you're a total self-centered person and have no intention of giving up anything, then you need to rethink whether or not a relationship is for you.
It's right for you. No doubt about that. Hey, we're going to take another quick break. You're listening to I Am Love Builder Show with Casper and Cheryl. If you're listening live, it's just going to be a few seconds, and then we'll be back with more of the show, talking about the understanding the 6 building blocks of a successful relationship. So just hang tight. We'll be right back in just a moment. All right, we are back. I am Love Builders here with Casper
Mhm.
and Cheryl, and we are going through chapter 13 in our book, and that chapter is understanding the 6 building blocks of a successful relationship.
Yes.
And there are specific things that you really need to be thinking about if you're going to get into and maintain
A healthy
a healthy
relationship.
relationship.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So number 4 is, what is your plan of action?
Plan. You mean you just
Yes.
kind of just don't,
Yeah,
hey,
no,
she's
you just
pretty.
don't.
Oh, hey, he's handsome. Let's go ahead
No.
and get married.
Oh my goodness. No, don't
Let's
do
get
that.
married.
Don't do that.
Girl, I got married last night. Okay, well,
Who is he?
who do you know? Well, no, he seemed nice. He seemed really nice,
And how long have you
and he's
known him?
handsome.
He's handsome.
Uh-huh.
And how long have you known him?
About a week.
Does he have a job?
Don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Oh man. Don't do
Yeah.
that. Don't do that.
I think he has a job.
Oh no. No.
Yeah.
No. You want people who are employed, who can carry their weight, who
Investigate.
are
Yeah.
have a business. They're doing something to bring in income. They're
Yeah.
not looking solely for you to bring in all the income, or
Right.
they're constantly coming to you for money every time you turn around. We were watching
Oh,
a TV show just
I was just thinking about is it NCIS Hawaii or whatever it is?
yes, we were watching this show, and this guy was a con. He had conned and had was 16 different fiancés.
Yeah. Fiancés, not girlfriends.
He got to the point he gonna marry
He
them.
gonna marry them.
He's engaged to all of them,
Mhm.
and all of them had the same story. It all ended up with them giving him some money.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I mean, he
Good.
started like they were all women who had businesses.
they're working.
They were
together.
entrepreneurs, and so he would come in and help them shore up things on their business and give them
Mhm.
some ideas
Yeah.
and some tips. And they thought, "Oh my gosh, he's into me. He's we can work together. We're a team."
Mhm, we're a
And
team,
then
yeah.
next thing you know, on the team is one-sided in that you're giving him money. I'm not meaning like $25 for
No,
gas. I
no.
mean, these women were like $10,000,
$20,000,
$20,000,
$50,000.
$50,000. They ended up having to give him,
Yeah.
as he was giving them a story that was a bogus, bold-faced, outright lie.
Yeah, he said he was a Navy intelligence officer or
Or
something.
something. He had some story going, and he needed to lay low. He just needed a little funds to carry him over while he's laying low because he was a spy or
Yeah.
something.
The first red flag would be, okay, you're a military intelligence officer.
Mhm.
So you don't need to lay low. The military needs to lay you low if there's any lay low going on.
Right. And they will fund your laying low.
Right.
You don't need to ask me for lay low money. Not happening.
If you're a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force, they're laying you low.
Right.
They're putting you somewhere.
Right. And if you're a spy and you got to hide from whoever you're spying on, they will take care of that because you're spying for them.
Right.
You don't need my $50,000.
Okay. But just it's TV. So.
Well, yeah, but you know what? There are con men and women out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not maybe to that degree, but they are out there.
Oh yeah.
And they will use you for their next buck. Doggone, I'm short on rent. Can you help me?
Yeah.
I just met you, 3 months ago or 3 weeks ago, and now you asking me for money?
Yeah, and I know a lot of them start online, so that's a lot of the
know your red flags
hesitation.
If you're doing it right.
We're talking to someone online because you don't know their story. So I'm not I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to establish a date or find someone online. I think that's okay, but you need to quickly move that to an in-person situation. What I mean by that is I don't mean hooking up. What I mean is you go to a public place and you meet them.
Right.
For coffee or for lunch or something like that. In a public place so you guys can talk, but there's a lot of folks around. Right.
And don't be ashamed or afraid to have your friends there.
Right.
Because they might see something that maybe you didn't see.
Oh, yeah.
They may know. They might even know him. They might say,
It's a girl.
"Girl, that's Curtis. That's Beverly's. 3 times over X. Don't you remember him from 6 years ago? you know.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, this and
mm,
there's always red flags, but you need some folks around you that are willing to speak
mhm.
into your life and say, "Hey, I don't know if you want to move in that direction.
Right.
There's this flag and that flag."
Right. And don't be ashamed or don't ignore red flags. Please don't.
Yeah.
Don't ignore them.
Mhm.
So, you need to have a plan of action. You need to have some goals. You need to know what your goals are
Yeah.
so that when you meet this person, you all can collaborate on goals. Do they have any?
Yeah. Like we mentioned earlier, start making a list, right?
Right.
And it's not necessarily a list you have to share with them, but a list that you have internally
Mm-hmm.
on what you're looking for,
Right.
and having those goals set, and then like you just mentioned, find out if they have goals. Do
Right.
they have any goals
Right.
about
I mean,
marriage?
do you all have the same energy
Right.
or same level of motivation?
Right.
Are you both willing to grow and to thrive? You
Mhm.
need that. If you are, then you need a person who is, because it makes a relationship very hard when you're energetic, you have the energy, you're
Right.
willing to grow, you're motivated, and the person you're dating is just pretty lackadaisical,
Well, but that's
mediocre,
that opposites attract thing,
and they're not really willing to grow or to thrive, or
Mhm.
that they're comfortable. I
Yeah.
am where I am, and I just want to stay right here.
Yeah.
And you're the type of person that's a go-getter. You're like, hey, let's go conquer that mountain,
Mhm.
and they're like, oh no, let's just sit here.
Mhm.
That's not going to work for you in the long run
No,
or the
no.
short run.
Right.
So you need to have a plan. You need the person you're going to be with, they need to have a plan. And another thing I was thinking about having a plan
Mhm.
is having a plan to help keep you on track.
Hmm.
Because when you get into these relationships and you find this man or woman, and
Mhm.
you're attracted to them
Right.
and you really like being around them,
Mhm.
and then you start slipping because they may be swaying you one way or the other.
Mhm.
But if you don't have your list to keep you focused on, okay, I said I wanted someone who has a job.
Right.
This one don't have a job.
Right.
I said I wanted
Or
someone who seems to be financially responsible. Every time I see him, I have to pay the tab.
or they may have a job in the beginning, but then they lose their job.
Right.
But then what are they doing after they lose their job? But they just say, well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
And sit on the couch.
Right. Or is she someone who's very, very particular in her appearance? But who pays for that? Does she
Right.
pay for that? Or
Okay.
sooner or later you're gonna find you paying for it? Because she needs to keep up the lifestyle to which she is
Accustomed
accustomed.
to.
So that's
Yeah.
the so that's why I say writing it down is another way to help, not just for you to keep
Yeah.
a gauge on, so that you don't lose yourself in the process.
Sure. Sure.
You don't forget what it was you really set out to achieve.
Mhm.
You get so hung up and so attracted, and that you just start to float away. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's why I really do believe it's good for you to write it down, not only for them, but for you, you know, you more than them, so that you can stay on track.
Yeah.
So then the next one is number 5 would be, are you modeling the world or God?
Okay. So this is a big one. So we're gonna take a break. Give give some time to kind of ease into this one, because
Okay.
this is a big topic. So you're listening to I Am Love Builders show with Casper and Cheryl, where we're delving into chapter 13 of our book, Understanding the 6 Building Blocks of a Successful Relationship. We're going to take another quick break. If you're listening live, it'll just be for like 10 seconds or so. And then we'll be right back in just a moment. All right, we are back. Casper and Cheryl here with I Am Love Builders, and we are delving into chapter 13 of the book, Understanding the Six Building Blocks of a Successful Relationship.
Right.
Before we go on, can we start and just name off the building blocks again from the top?
Okay, yeah. So the 6 building blocks are: what do you desire?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have faith?
Okay.
What are you willing to give up?
Mm-hmm.
What is your plan of action? Are you modeling the world for God?
Okay, that's where we're at right now.
Right. And the last one, which we're going to hit, is are you happy?
All right.
So if you are a believer
Mm-hmm.
and you declare that Jesus is Lord of your life, you're born again, spirit filled, and your goal is to study the word of God and line your life and your lifestyle up
Right.
with the Bible, then what what model you gonna stay with that model, or until you meet someone that you're so attracted to, that she's so beautiful, she's so sweet, he's so cute, or whatever the case may be, and then your your goals, your beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
your faith goes
Mm-hmm.
out the window.
Yeah.
How does this work?
I
What are you
know.
gonna do?
Over the years, even before we got married and stuff, I would see Christians, Friday night partying, Saturday night partying at the club, Sunday morning go to church,
Mm-hmm.
hungover, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem like, now I believe there is a difference,
Yes.
but it sure didn't seem like it back in the day
Mm-hmm.
of someone's, oh yeah, I go to church. Oh yeah, I'm a Christian. Yeah, but you're drinking and carousing just like everybody else, just like the world is.
Mm-hmm.
You have the same issues. You're angry and jealous and bitterness and all those things that are not biblically based. They're not things that you should be focused on.
Mm-hmm.
You should be focused on love and mercy and peace and joy. It should be very obvious to anyone who's not a Christian that there's something different about you.
you.
I can't put my finger on it necessarily or whatever, but it's just something,
And in a good way.
in a good way. Yeah.
Yes.
How you respond to
Mhm.
situations is just
Mhm.
different.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I was in politics and stuff, I'd always have some of my team members, they would remark on how I would respond to someone who's attacking me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't just attack them back. I said, well, you are too, and then just go back and forth.
Yeah.
I would say, oh well,
Mm-hmm.
I said, look, I forgive them, or something, and they'd look at me like very strange, And these are Christians too,
Yeah.
right? And they look at me like, well, how could you just ignore that or forgive them or whatever? And I said, well, because I'm Christian, because I have the Holy Spirit operating in me,
That's right.
and that's how we roll,
Right.
right? So it should be a drastic difference between someone who is operating on the world system or the kingdom system. It should be something, it should be very different.
As a matter of fact, what we wrote here in our book is that this means treating others with kindness, respect, and compassion, and striving to live a life that is guided by the principles of love and faith. And I would add to that also the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
It says when you model the love of God in your relationships, you create a space of trust, understanding, empathy that allows your relationships to thrive. The world's understanding of relationship changes, but the love of God never does.
Never changes. So
and you have to be forgiving, and I understand a lot of this is work. Now, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But so when that's another reason why you need to be writing down. So singles, I hope you're listening to me. And if you're already married, it's not too late. You can always give each other grace and start over from scratch and say, we're going to shore up some things in our relationship.
Exactly.
We're going to make some changes. You can change. You can make alterations in your relationship. You can shore it up. You can strengthen it. You can identify areas that says, hey, these are some areas that we're a little weak on these areas. These are some areas where we need a buttress. We need some help, some support, and go for it. Get it. Don't just, let it meander like a house that becomes that uninhabited, and it just eventually becomes dilapidated, and it has to be torn down. No, you can remodel. You can remodel your relationship, your marriage. You can do
Yes.
that.
Yes, you can.
So
That's
here's
what we're all about.
that's what we're here
love
for.
builders. That's what we do.
That's why we're here. We're here to help you, give you some tools, some tips, some hacks, some guidelines, something to help you make sure you have a strong, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
So the last one is, are you happy?
Mm.
Mm, that's a big one.
Yeah.
I here's one of the things that when it comes to I Am Love Builders is that we want you to be a love builder, but we want you to have love. I mean, a relationship takes more than love.
Right.
You have to have more than just love.
Right.
You have to be committed. You have to have trust. You have to be willing to forgive. I mean, you have to have patience and long suffering, the fruit and the gifts of the Spirit. Okay.
Yeah.
However, you need to be happy in your relationship. I don't advocate for people to be married and miserable. I don't believe that Jesus advocates for people to be married and miserable.
Right.
So if you're in a marriage or relationship and you're miserable, let's see what you can do to change that. And divorce is not necessarily the answer.
No, it's not. It's not a good option. And
I mean, there might be places where there might be an option where
well,
you're getting
if there's physical abuse
right,
happening,
right,
so,
right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But to be happy, you would think that two grown adults who are married together and maybe empty nesters or whatever going on, to where it's just them, right? You wonder why they're not happy.
Right.
And a lot of it is self-centeredness or selfishness, to where one is wanting this to happen,
right,
and all these things have to happen. But if you're not internally happy yourself,
right,
then it's going to be hard for that to spill over into your marriage,
right?
If you're always angry and bitter, regardless if your spouse is causing it or not, you're just not a happy person. And then you're married to another person who may or may not be a happy person, or maybe you're not happy, but your spouse is, and you're like, why are you so happy all the time? Because I'm not happy. Okay, well, let's work on that. Let's figure that out. Because there is a way for both of you to come together and be happy. But it will potentially take some compromise, potentially. But it shouldn't be that hard.
No. I was thinking about our pastors today. They were sharing their testimony.
Right.
And Pastor Didi was saying that Pastor Dave, when he was, growing in Jesus, he was changing, he was transforming. And so he would go out into the garage and he would just praise God.
Yeah.
He would just worship him. And she was angry about it. She's like, how can he be so happy? She didn't want him to be happy. She was miserable. And I guess she liked it better when he was miserable too. But
misery loves company.
Yes. Yeah. But he was changing. He was transforming. And he began to learn what it meant to just go out. He just separate himself for a minute and just go worship and praise the Lord and have laughter.
Yes.
And this was really irritating to her. Eventually, she came around too.
Yeah.
But there are people like that who just don't want to be happy.
And that's why our tagline is, if you're not having
fun,
you're not doing it right. And we're not saying it to be cute. We're saying that because that's what you should be. Yeah. You should be happy.
Right. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to have challenges.
Yes.
Ups and downs in your marriage.
Yes.
You will. Guaranteed. It will happen. There will be some areas of contention and conflict. But your whole marriage shouldn't be summed up as just married and miserable.
No.
You should be enjoying your marriage and learning to overcome those challenges, learning to overcome those conflicts, not letting them dominate you, but you dominating them.
Yeah. And we can help you. That's why we're here. We want you to become MVPs. We want you to grow in your relationship and in your marriage and just have fun, because, life is short.
Right. Oh my gosh. You should be enjoying life.
You should be enjoying life. Absolutely. And we hope that this show has been helpful to you. You can get more information and get our free ebook from our website. And you can take our 5 or 20-minute love assessment on our website. We want you to become MVPs, and that stands for most valuable partner. If you're working on becoming an MVP and your spouse is working on becoming an MVP together, now you have a very solid, a very happy and flourishing relationship.
And if you want even more of the things we talk about, this is a cover of our book. You can go to Amazon and get your own copy and start reading.
Absolutely.
Grow.
Absolutely. And remember,
if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right.
Okay, we're going to see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.